Hello everyone, welcome to Bedside Tabletop. My name is Richard and tonight we will be playing Xayah, Legends of a Drift System. More specifically, the solo mode included in the expansion for Xayah, which is called Embers of a Forsaken Star. This was designed by Cody Miller and the expansion was co-designed by Ira Fey. Now the great thing about Xayah is it's a game you can teach as you go along, so what we're going to do is we're going to set up our solo scenario out on the board, and then I'll kind of go over a rough overview of how our turns are going to work, and we're just going to set out and explore. So right now we are going to be playing a solo campaign scenario, and what that means is that we're going to have an objective on top of an amount of fame points that we want to achieve in order to win. The game is basically a race to see who can reach this fame point threshold. And so let's take a look at our solo scenario card. Now we draw these randomly from a stack of cards. And it says Resurgent. Your ship must be destroyed at least 4 times in this game, and in that top right corner you're going to see how many fame points we need to reach on top of that. So we must be destroyed at least 4 times in this game, and we must reach 10 fame points. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this handy dandy fame point tracker. This red cube is going to represent the NPC ships. There are NPC ships in Xayah that we will be competing against to gain the 10 fame points. And then this is us right here. It's yellow because I am always yellow. And then we've got our victory point marker that's set onto 10, so we must reach 10 victory points. So we're going to go ahead and set this guy off to the side. Alright, and just in case you didn't know, we've got our spaceship character right here. Now let's go over to our player board real quick so we can set some stuff up, and then we'll spawn our character and we'll set out into this vast space exploration sandbox galaxy. Alright, so this is our player board right here. This is going to be the ship that we start with. We always start with a tier 1 ship, and this ship is the Vagabond. Now each ship has their own unique special power, and let's take a look at what the Vagabond can do. So the Vagabond has a beta grid. And basically, if we go inside the border of an asteroid, ice asteroid, nebula, or debris field, which I will show you that on the board, we get to roll a d20, and then we might get a resource cube. Resource cubes are basically these colorful little cubes right here, and they basically represent resources that you can mine, trade, sell, and buy in the galaxy of Xayah. Now also on your board, you're going to see these markers right here. Now these are called armed markers, and these are going to be the crux of your turn. Basically what you're going to get to do is you're going to fill this ship out with outfits such as blasters, missiles, shields, and engines for moving, and those are going to have a certain amount of spaces that you can place these tokens on in order to perform the action. Right over here we have a thing called an impulse token. This is going to allow us to move exactly the amount of spaces shown right above it, and basically this guarantees that we will get at least this much movement on our turn. Alright, and finally we have this token which represents our ship's energy. Energy is what you need in order to rearm markers at the end of your turn, as well as perform some special powers. So as you can see, this special power that we have requires an energy cost. So if we want to use it, we'd have to move our token down. And if you ever move inside of planets, you actually get to regenerate your energy, which we will see once we start playing. We will be playing on the normal difficulty for the solo mode, so we get to start out with 4 credits, and we can use these credits to do whatever we want. So why don't we go ahead and buy some outfits for our ship? Alright, what we have here is a big bag of outfits. And I think starting out we want some movement. Now, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put in a bigger engine. Something like this that's going to allow us to roll a d8 for our movement if we arm it. So let's go ahead and place this guy right here. It's called the Halon engine. The Halon engine costs 2 credits. And let's get another outfit. So it might seem a little counterintuitive because we want to be destroyed at least 4 times this game, but I do want to put some shields onto my ship because dying does mean that you lose some resources that you're carrying inside your ship. And with the NPC ships, some of them are going to try and come after you if you fulfill specific requirements. So like this NPC right over here, the scoundrel, he's going to target you if you are innocent or if you are carrying stuff that he wants. And this guy over here, the enforcer, he's basically a cop in the galaxy, and if you are an outlaw, he is going to be coming after you and trying to kill you. And in the solo mode, the NPCs have this cool stat card, which is going to determine how much movement they get on their turn, what they attack with, what they defend with, and how much it takes to kill them. And they also have NPC behavior cards that you're going to choose at the beginning of the game, and that determines what they do on their turn. So we're going to focus on this top area of the NPC cards right here, which for the scoundrel is the usual suspect. And we're not going to go too much into detail on what those are until we get our NPC turns. But right now, let's buy our other outfit, which is going to be a shield. And we're going to buy one of the less powerful shields over here, which is the Targe shield. I don't really know how to pronounce that. And we'll put it right out here on our board. That's going to cost us 1,000 credits. And what these other spaces right here represent is places on our hold that we can put any of these resource cubes in if we want to do our trading. And I forgot to mention that there are tons of ways to gain fame points in this game, just in case you were a little confused. We've got this player aid on the back of our turn summary card, which tells us all the different ways you can gain fame points. So selling cubes, exploring, doing missions, just being wealthy in general, killing NPCs, those are the ways that we are going to gain fame points, and I'll make sure to remind you guys how to gain fame points as we go along. But right now, we just want to get to exploring, so let's go ahead and spawn our ship. So as you can see on this board, there are going to be little numbers. Go ahead, grab one of these tiles. There are going to be little numbers, and what we are going to do is we're going to roll a d20. Please excuse all the hair. we have a cattle dog. That's just what happens when you own one. What you're going to do is you're going to roll a d20, and whatever spawn point is closest to that number on the d20 is where you are going to spawn. So we're going to take our guy right over here, and we're going to put him on this 3 space right there, because 2 is closer to 3 than it is to 12. Alright, so we just spawned on the board. Now, what are we seeing out here? So we've got a couple of dead planets here. We have an alive planet right here. It's called Azure. It's a neutral planet. Now, anyone can enter neutral planets. However, if you're an outlaw, you cannot enter innocent planets, and if you are innocent and you enter an outlaw planet, you're going to get a bounty on you. But neutral planets are fair game. And NPCs spawn in certain planets that come out. However, no NPC planets have shown up just yet. Now, there are certain spots on the board that allow you to pick up exploration tokens. On your turn, if you ever have 2 exploration tokens, you can turn them in to gain 1 fame point, and exploration tokens are going to give you a bonus when you turn them over, or they can just give you damage. So you're kind of taking a risk when grabbing them. And right here in the middle, we have the star near, and we have this NPC right here called the Kiln. But the Kiln acts more as a planet than it does as an NPC, so you can actually use your movement to dock at the Kiln and then take actions. Now, one action you can take at the Kiln is sifting tokens, which you find on these dead planets. These are kind of like the exploration tokens, except you must have space in your ship in order to hold them. And when you flip them over, they either give you a fame point or you get a special bonus. And in order to grab these tokens, what you have to do is you must take an action. So on this dead planet right here, you must move onto this excavate space and then roll a d20. And on a 1 to 10, you're going to receive damage up to that roll, or on an 11 to 20, you get to grab one of the exploration tokens. And since I didn't go over it, this symbol right here is a mission symbol. When we move through this symbol, we are able to grab missions from this mission deck. And if we do grab missions, I'll go over how those work. But right now, let's go ahead and get to the crux of our turn, which is going to be the action phase. Now, on your turn, you can perform up to 3 phases: the action phase, business phase, and status phase. However, you only complete the business phase if you are on a planet, and the status phase is kind of like a refresh phase for the game. So let's go ahead and do our action phase. You can do as many of these actions as you'd like, but remember, you do have limited armed markers to perform on those outfits that you have. So it's not like you can just do anything and your turn can last for as long as you would like. But I think right now what we're going to do is we're going to move our ship around the galaxy. We're going to go ahead and maybe pick up a mission, and I think I want to excavate one of these tokens because we do have space in our ship, and that does guarantee us a fame point. So let's go over to our player board. I'll show you how activating outfits works. We won't always be switching to the player board every time that happens, but it's good for you guys to see kind of how the general gameplay goes. Alright, so in order to move, what we're going to do, we can use our impulse of 3 if we wanted to move, but I usually use impulse as a last resort. So what we'll do is we'll grab one of these armed markers right here. They must be armed in order to use them, and we have to put it on an available arming spot on the outfit. So we just went ahead and put a marker on the Halon engine, and the Halon engine says that we use a D8 to determine our movement. So we're going to go ahead and grab our hairy, dirty dice tray, and let's go ahead and roll that D8, and we get a 3. So we get 3 movement for this first action. So we can't really access anywhere special for 3. We can move into this area and gain this exploration token. However, this is a vortex, and when we move into a vortex, you must roll a d20. On a 1 to 10, you lose that much energy, and on an 11 to 20, you're perfectly safe. So I don't want to take that risk and lose energy early on. So I think we're just going to make our way over to this dead planet right over here called the Ruins of Drelmoth. Pretty cryptic. And we're just going to use our 3 movements. So 1, 2, 3. Now these lines here, they don't come into play, so you don't have to worry about that just yet. I think what we're going to do is arm our Halon engine again by spending an armed marker, and we're going to roll that D8 once again. Hopefully we get a better number. God, that tray, it's so hairy. It's got so much dog hair. Alright, and we get a 6. So let's see, with 6 movement, we can go 1, 2, 3, pick up this exploration token. 4, 5, 6, we can also pick up a mission. Now, if we did move into this excavate space and take the excavate action, we would have to end our movement, because on this player turn aid, it shows you which actions end movement and which ones you may continue your movement. So any minor actions, such as picking up explore tokens, you can still continue your movement. However, when we do excavate, we must end our movement. But I do think we want to excavate, so let's go ahead, move over there, and see what happens. So we'll move 1, 2, 3. Let's check out this exploration token. Alright, so what this exploration says is we gain 5 movement, and we must use it right now on our turn. So we could wrap around here and grab some missions and then move on to the excavation point. I think that's kind of cool, so let's go ahead and do that, because missions also ensure that we might gain fame points in the future. So we'll move 1, 2, 3, and then we've got this giant stack of mission cards. I'm going to go ahead and grab 3 from the top, and we get to pick 1. So what did we get? We got a cargo mission, we got a bounty hunter mission, and we got an arms dealer mission. This bounty hunter mission right here, I'm going to discard this because we don't have any blasters or missiles in our ship, so we cannot attack. So basically it's a toss-up between the arms dealer and the cargo. I think we're going to go with delivering the cargo. We must deliver it to Neo Vostok, which isn't out on the board yet. But we do get a system expanse in the solo mode at the end of our turn, which might ensure that Neo Vostok comes out. So we'll go ahead and take this cargo mission. We can only hold 1 mission at a time. And basically what this means is we want to grab these cubes. Depending on how many of these cubes we grab, we'll get different amounts of credits, and then deliver it to Neo Vostok. So that is another goal we have right now. But let's get to our excavating. So we'll move this guy onto the excavation space, and let's roll a d20 to see if we take damage or if we successfully excavate. Now this is a naked die roll, so it's a little nerve-wracking because we have nothing that could possibly mitigate it. Let's roll big, baby. 5. Ooh, that's not good. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take 5 damage. Now, this isn't normal damage. This is going to be ice damage. Ice damage spreads orthogonally at the end of your turn, but if you do end on a planet, it basically heats up and all your ice damage goes away. But let's go ahead and spread out our ice damage on our ship. I just realized that we do actually have the Targi shield on our ship. So what we can do whenever we receive environmental damage is we can activate the shield in order to try and block that damage. So let's go ahead, use one of our armed markers, place it on the target shield, and let's roll our d6. We are looking to get a 5 so we can block all that damage. Let's go. 2. Alright, so we are going to be taking 3 damage out on our ship, and again, it is not regular damage, it's ice damage. And we get to place it wherever we want. We can even place it on outfits and activation spots on outfits. However, if a damage is on an activation spot, you may not use it, and if a damage is on an outfit, that outfit's effectiveness is going to be reduced by 1. So if there was a damage on that shield, it would have reduced our roll by 1, and that 2 would have become a 1. And you must place your damage even if there's an armed marker there. If a damage goes on a spot with an armed marker, it just goes into the disarmed space. Alright, so let's go ahead and place out our damage. I think we're going to put 1 here, so we have a 2 space available for our excavation, and then we'll put 1 on our shield because we want to use that in the future. Alright, so our excavation didn't go so well, but I am nothing if not persistent, so let's go ahead and try to excavate one more time. 14! Alright, 14 is definitely higher than 10, so we take no damage, and we go ahead and grab this excavation token. Now, we don't flip it over like we do with exploration tokens. We are going to put this inside of our ship's hold, which, if you remember from my ship, I had 2 empty spaces orthogonally adjacent to one another, so I can place that right in there. And then what we're going to want is to go over to the kiln. Alright, so we're going to arm our movement marker again, which lets us roll that d8, and we didn't put any ice damage on our movement outfit, so we don't get to reduce that. Let's go ahead and roll again, and we get a 6. Okay, that's definitely enough to reach the kiln, because we also have our impulse, which guarantees us 3 movements. So let's move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we need 1 more movement to get in there, so I'm going to spend my impulse token, and that other movement is just going to be wasted, but let's go ahead and dock at the kiln. Alright, so right here this card symbolizes that we're inside the kiln, and when we enter the kiln we must roll a d6, and that's how many spaces that the kiln moves around its path. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's just going to change up what areas the kiln is present in. Okay, but once we're in the kiln, we may sift our excavation token. And let's take a look, see what we get. Alright, so this will either give us a fame point, or we can choose 2 credits and an M Corp outfit. Alright, so this M Corp computer means that we can carry 2 active missions in our hold, which is actually pretty cool because we can get another mission just in case our cargo mission doesn't work out. So yeah, I think I'm going to forfeit that fame point. I'm going to take that M Corp, and I'm also going to take these 2 credits because credits are important in the game. Here are the goodies. I'm just going to put this M Corp right next to the Halon engine, and I'll put our credits right next to the ship. So now we have 3,000 credits. And we used our impulse token. Sorry, I forgot to flip that over. But alright, right now we've used all of our armed markers, so there's not much left on our turn that we can do. So we're going to go ahead and end our action phase, and we're going to go to the business phase. We can recharge energy. We can do this for free. However, our energy already is at its maximum. Then we can repair damage. So if we had normal damage, which is the orange damage, we can pay a credit equal to the tier of our ship, which is 1, to repair all that damage. However, ice damage immediately goes away on your business phase. So we're just going to put that away into there. Then we can buy and sell outfits. So outfits sell for half their price, but if the outfit is worth 1,000, then it just sells for 1,000. We can also rearrange our hold, which means rearrange everything in here. We can buy a new ship, which different ships have different costs, and we can also gain a fame point by simply paying 5,000 credits. So for our business phase, we got rid of that ice damage. We've got 3,000 credits. So what I'm thinking is we get an outfit that allows us to hold more stuff. And what this really neat outfit right here is, it's a cargo pod. It's going to go on 1 space of your ship, and it basically hangs off your ship, so you can do much more with the rest of your ship. So now we can hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cargo. Alright, and that's the end of our business phase. Then we are going to go to the status phase. Now, freeze would happen if we had ice damage. The ice damage would spread orthogonally throughout our ship, however, that doesn't happen. Claim fame. If you missed gaining any fame points, you would gain it right now, and sometimes you gain fame points during your status phase. Draw titles and events. That happens if you gain fame points. Then refresh and demand. So, refresh allows us to refresh our impulse token. Demand doesn't come into play right now. And then armed markers and take turns for any NPCs you control. So we're going to arm our markers, and this is the process. For each marker that's on an outfit, we can spend 1 energy to rearm them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we can just use those markers on our next turn. However, if we did not rearm the marker, they would go in the disarmed area. And that's the end of the status phase. Now let's just get back to the board because we have stuff to do to see if the NPCs come out, and we also have a system expanse to carry out. Alright, we are back at the board, and in the solo game, at the end of your turn, a system expanse is going to happen. And basically what we do is we're going to choose a unoccupied side in the galaxy, draw a tile from this stack of galaxy tiles over here, and then add it to our board. So I think we're going to go right here. We want to see what's going to come out in this area, and we're specifically going to match it up to this side, which has a little line. So we're going to flip our tile, and look at that. We get Lunari, which was actually a destination for one of the missions we drew earlier, which we didn't keep, but oh well. We're going to match up this side to the side that we picked on the board. So Lunari is going to go right there. Now, Lunari is part of the trade route for the NPC merchant, which is going to go around delivering cubes and gaining money. However, the merchant only comes out once a second planet in its trade route has been drawn. So we need Dorian 5, Azure, Kemplar 2, and Neo Damascus to come out, and then that NPC merchant would come out. Here is a better close-up of the NPC merchant, by the way. I think it's a pretty cool ship. Alright, so that was our system expanse. The Scoundrel only comes out once Loth comes out, and the Enforcer comes out once Kemplar 2 comes out. So no NPCs are on the board. However, they will still complete a end of round NPC roll. Now how you complete this is you roll a d20, then you add any modifiers. So +2 if I dropped any cargo cubes or the NPCs gain a bounty for destroying me, +2 for each fame point the NPC is behind, and then anything that the merchant gets will add specific bonuses onto that roll. But right now, we're just going to roll the d20. So let's see what the NPCs get. They get a 13. Now let's refer back to our card. We see from a 4 to 14, the NPCs gain 1 fame point. So on our fame point tracker, we're going to move the NPCs up 1 space, and they're entering this purple area. And since they're on a purple space, they are going to draw an event card. Now normally, this event card would come out during the status phase if it was a player's turn, but the NPCs immediately draw that event. So we've got a deck of purple event cards right over here. And what these do is they kind of change up the game in interesting ways. So let's draw the top card and see what we get. We get Signs of Life. Let's go ahead and read this card. Well, Signs of Life aren't found. Players that end their action phase on a dead world, which we have 2, a Ruins of Dromoth and Kalakas, they may roll a d20. On a 1 to 15, nothing happens. On a 16 to 20, the player earns 2 fame points and finds Signs of Life. And with Signs of Life, business phases may now be conducted on the mission point on that dead world. So if we go here, roll a d20, we could discover Signs of Life, and then if we ever go there in the future, we may conduct a business phase. So it's like the dead world has come to life because there are aliens on it. That's pretty cool, actually. And this card does not leave the play, so we'll keep it here. So that's a positive event. Sometimes events, they are not so positive, but that one's a good one. All right, it's back to our turn, and we are on the kiln, and it's time for us to do our action phase. We have all our tokens armed, we have 0 damage, so let's go ahead and putter forth. Now, Signs of Life does allow us to earn 2 fame points. That sounds pretty neat, and the NPCs are ahead of us by 1 point, so I think we might want to do that. So in order to get into this space, we can't use our impulse because our impulse is only 3. So we're going to arm our Halon engine, and then roll that d8. And we get a 1. Alright, not great, but we can move off the kiln right here. Okay, let's go ahead and arm that movement marker one more time. Hopefully we get something that isn't a 1. We get a 7. Okay, that's not great, really, because we are going to have to end our movement once we reach that mission point. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What we can do is we can wrap around, grab this exploration token that's on Kalakis, and then end on this mission point to scan for signs of life. And also, we can probably draw missions on that point as well. So let's go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We gain this exploration token. Let's see what we get. We get even more movement, and that gives us +5. Oh, I just realized I forgot to put an exploration token out on Lunari. What we could do is, on your turn, you can either scan a sector to reveal a new sector tile, or you can jump to that sector. Now, scanning a sector costs an energy, and you must end your movement. But if you jump into a sector, you get to continue your movement, and you don't have to spend an energy. So it's like taking a risk, because you must face whatever consequences you find in that new sector. But I think we're going to jump to this new sector, so let's move our galaxy over here. And we're going to jump to this space specifically in that sector. So again, we had 7 movement. So we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus that extra 5 movement. So we have actually 7 movement left. So let's go ahead and jump into this sector. And what do we get? We get Burning Horse. And we got to match that up to this circular symbol here. We're going to put out an exploration token here and then move into that space. And look, we didn't move into this nebula space. That's pretty cool. So what can we do on Burning Horse? We can harvest for some hollow, and we can also gain some missions. But I think that's pretty good revealing a new sector. There's nothing I really want to do on Burning Horse right now. So let's just wrap around back to Kalakis and take some missions. So bump, bump, bump. We are going to go ahead and end our movement, and then we will scan for signs of life. All right, we need that 16 to 20 range. Okay, Nat 1. All right, that's not great. So we did not find signs of life. However, we did end on a mission space, so we can grab 3 missions from the top of the missions deck and pick one. So we've got a research mission, we got an arms dealer mission, and we have a shuttle mission. What we're going to do is we're going to take this arms dealer mission. So we need to buy a blaster outfit and then add it to our ship, and depending on what blaster outfit we add to our ship, we deliver it to the Ruins of Drillmoth, which is actually out on the board. We are going to gain credits, but we will also gain a bounty and become an outlaw because we are an arms dealer. However, we will also gain fame points if we do complete it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this into my mission area. Again, I have that M-Comp computer, which allows me to hold 2 missions, and we aren't going to become an outlaw unless we complete that arms dealer mission, so we're still neutral right now. Alright, so that was a pretty big turn. I think what we are going to want to do is let's do some more exploring to see what else comes out. So we're going to arm our movement outfit. This is the final movement we'll be able to do on the movement outfit, and let's go out exploring. Let's explore this area or this area right here, depending on what roll we get. So let's go ahead and roll that D8. And we get a 1 again. So we'll move 1 space. Our impulse is 3, but that isn't going to get us anywhere. Now we could move 3 spaces here and then scan that sector. That would cost us in energy, so I don't think we're going to do that. So what we'll do is we'll move into Lunari so we can conduct our business phase on Lunari. So let's go ahead and use our impulse. We're just kind of playing it safe right now. And we'll move 1, 2, 3 into Lunari. Now, Lunari does have a buy cubes space, and one of those cubes actually pertains to our cargo mission that we could deliver to Neo Vostok. So why don't we actually move onto this space right here, and it allows us to buy 2 of the purple cipher cubes for 1. It allows us to buy 2 of the purple cipher cubes for 1,000 credits. Now, here's an important concept that Embers of a Forsaken Star adds to the base game of Xayah. It's this economy board right here. In the base game, you could just buy as much as you wanted, but this economy board limits how much you can buy. So we want to buy the purple cubes on Lunari, and there are 6 purple cubes that are available to buy. So we can spend 1 credit right here and gain 2 purple cubes from Lunari. Now, how do purple cubes get added to this economy board? If someone sells blue cubes, these blue plasma cubes, to a planet that can take plasma cubes, which conveniently Lunari does take plasma cubes, each cube you sell up to the spaces in the area it will produce cubes in will produce a new cube of that type. So it's a little weird how I said it, but just think of it as if I sell 2 blue cubes to Lunari, 2 new purple cubes would appear on that economy board for us to buy in the future. But right now, we've got 2 of these purple cubes, and we're just going to go ahead and put these in our hold. So we're going to put this in this outfit that hangs out of our ship. Okay, and that was the last action of our action phase. I think we'll go ahead and move on to the business phase. So what we're going to do in our business phase is we're going to recharge our energy for free. And what we're also going to do is we're going to discard these 2 exploration tokens and gain a fame point. Now you may do that at any stage of your turn. So right now we are tied with the NPCs on the 1 fame point space. We do not draw another event. If we go onto an event space, it's whoever gets there first draws the event. And then we're going to go right to our status phase. We are not going to freeze. We already claimed our fame. We're not going to draw new titles or events. We are going to refresh our impulse, however. And we are also going to arm our markers. So we'll spend 3 energy since we only used 3 of our markers this turn. And we'll arm our markers at the top of the ship. And our turn is over, so let's go over to the system expanse turn. And I think what we want is we want the system to expand over here, right next to Lunari, because I want to see what's going to come out. Now, I just realized, actually, that Lunari is in the trade route of the merchant. So the merchant actually should spawn right now. So we're going to put him right here on this spawn point for Lunari. The merchant isn't going to do anything just yet because it's not the NPC's turn, but I just thought I should mention that right now. All right, and let's system expand right here on this edge. So we'll be matching up the triangle symbol. And another NPC will be coming out, Loath, the scoundrel. So let's put Loath down right there, and let's grab our scoundrel, and the scoundrel, he will spawn on that spawn point right there. Okay, and now it is going to be the NPC turns. So we basically, for the NPCs, we determine a seating order for them, so what order the NPCs will activate. I determined that the scoundrel, then the enforcer, then the merchant would move, so our scoundrel is actually going to act first. Now our scoundrel says, target player if innocent. I am currently innocent, so he's going to target me. Then he will move to the target. If he is in range of the target, then he will attack, and then he will move back to Loath. If he is not, then he won't move to me again. Currently, however, I am in a lawful planet, and the scoundrel will never move into a lawful planet, and planetary borders, this little light around the planet, block blasters. So the scoundrel can't actually get to me, but that doesn't mean he's not going to move towards me. So the NPC stats dictate that the scoundrel has a movement of 6, so he's going to move 6 toward me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's kind of mad dogging me from the other side of that planetary border. Now, you are able to cross planetary borders if you want to. You can roll a d20. You may take damage, you may die, you may become an outlaw. But the NPCs are not going to do that unless it's immediately necessary for them to get to me. But since the scoundrel will never go into a lawful planet, I'm completely safe from him this turn. Now, let's move on to the merchant. The merchant is going to target the cell space on the next trade route planet. So how it works is the merchant is currently on Lunari, and we do have Azure drawn over here, and Azure is the next planet on the trade route. So, the merchant is going to target the cell space on Azure, which, real quick, is going to be this green space right here. So the merchant has a movement of 9. Note that the merchant cannot attack, the merchant can only defend. If we wanted to be real mean, we could try and attack that merchant, but again, we don't have any blasters or missiles right now, so we can't really do that. I also forgot that when the scoundrel comes out, he gains a 2 credit bounty. So that means if we're lawful and we destroy the scoundrel, we're going to gain those 2 credits. And the enforcer might also target the scoundrel if the enforcer's behavior says so. So we'll put those 2 credits on the scoundrel. And then let's take the merchant's turn. So the merchant is targeting the sell space. The merchant will then move to that target. If it arrives, it's going to earn a d6 times the number of credits. And then if at least 5,000 credits are on board the merchant, it's going to spend 5,000 of those to gain 1 fame point. So the merchant is going to move with a movement of 9 toward the sell space on Azure. So they always take the most direct path. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the merchant's not quite there yet, but on the next turn it will definitely enter that sell space. And since the target on the scoundrel is the player, the scoundrel will never go for that merchant, although it can in other games. Alright, so that was the NPC's turn. We still need to roll a die for the NPCs, however, to see how many fame points they gain. 4. Let's refer to the solo round summary card. Oh, we are not lucky, because 4 to 14 they gain a fame point. So we'll go ahead and move our NPCs up on the fame point track, and now they are ahead of us once again. Okay, but the great thing is it's now our turn. Now we do have 2 cubes in our cargo pod that we can sell, and if you take a look at Loth, you can actually sell any cubes at Loth. And Loth does not produce any cubes when you sell to Loth. That's one of those small rules that you'll have to remember. So I think right now what we want to do is we might want to charge up and head to Loth, but it is a little risky because the scoundrel might attack us if we move there, because the scoundrel can go inside of Loth. But what the heck, we like to live dangerously. So let's arm our Halon engine, set our engines to go, and let's move 6 spaces. All right, so again, this is us. We're going to move 1, 2. Now you may move through spaces that contain other players and NPCs. You just can't end your movement on them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go ahead and arm our movement once again. And we gain 1 movement. That's not great. Okay, maybe we don't want to head to Loth. Maybe we want to explore to see what's here right now. So let's go ahead and spend our impulse, which gives us a for sure 3 movement. And we are just going to accept whatever consequences that we'll run into by moving into this spot right here. And specifically, we're going to move into this spot. So we've got our impulse. So 1, 2, and then let's see what we get. We're going to match it up to this side with the triangle here. All right, we gain Kemplar 2. So that means another one of our NPCs is going to come out, which is the Enforcer, this RoboCop idiot wannabe. And we'll put the Enforcer down there. And then I'll remember to put an exploration token out on there. Thank you very much. And we'll move into the space we designated, but nothing happens to us. Now we can buy Spice on Kemplar 2, and we can sell Hollow. However, that is not included in our cargo mission that we currently have. However, I am thinking we might want to see maybe more missions and jettison one of the missions we have, because I don't know if Neil Vostok is going to come out or not, so I might want to see if we get a sure thing. And by moving into Kemplar 2, that scoundrel would not be able to get us on the scoundrel's turn. So let's go ahead, arm our Halon engine again, roll, and then move 5. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can't pick up that exploration token and get to the missions. So maybe we'll pick up the exploration token and then grab missions on our way out, because during the system expanse, Neo Vostok might just come out and I'll end up looking like a complete idiot if I discarded that right now. So let's move 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll move 1 space toward that mission area. And let's see what we get. We gain 1 ice damage. Well, that is actually of no problem to us because we are on our planet, so it's going to immediately melt away during the business phase. Do you see that hair flying in the camera? Kind of looks like a ghost orb. But yeah, so I put our damage out on our ship, and I'm thinking we're going to end our action phase. So let's go ahead and move on to our business phase, which means that damage that we got immediately goes away because it was blue. It was ice damage. Now we only have one exploration token, so we can't turn that in for a fame point, sadly. And we do only have 1,000 credits right now, so there's not really much we can conduct on our business phase. But trust me, it may seem a little uneventful right now, but we are saving up for some future turns. Now let's go ahead and move to our status phase. So we do not claim any fame, we do not draw any titles or events. We will refresh our impulse marker, and then we will spend energy to armor markers. Wait, I forgot, on the business phase, you could recharge your energy for free. So let's just say we did that. And then I'm going to spend 3 energy to rearm all 3 markers that we used this turn. Okay, so we're done with our business, status, and action phase. Let's move on to the system expanse for the solo play. So we're going to expand right around here, kind of see what comes out. And we're going to expand on this edge right here, so the little pitchfork symbol. Okay, we get Farron's Call. We did not get Neovashtok, so I might remove that. And we'll match up Farron's Call. And what this is it's a gravity path. Whenever we enter any of these gravity spots, we're going to roll the die that it says to roll, and then we're going to move that many spaces. So let's go ahead and put it out on here. And I'm sure, as you can see, there is a little skull symbol inside of it. That means if we reach the skull symbol, we die. And we're going to go ahead and put 2 exploration tokens out on that. Let's move our galaxy so it is a bit more viewable. And then we're going to take our NPC turns. So, Scoundrel, usual suspect, he's going to target me. He's going to move 6 spaces to me. And if he's not in range, he will also move again. So, Scoundrel's going to turn around and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then move again, bam, right there. So he's mad dogging me again from the outside of this lawful planet Kemplar 2. Now let's move over to this Enforcer. The Enforcer is actually corrupt. So if I'm an outlaw, the Enforcer will move to me, and then if I am in range, the Enforcer, I must bribe the Enforcer based on my ship's tier in order for the Enforcer to not attack me, which is actually pretty nice because that means the Enforcer will not unleash his blasters if I pay him. But I currently am not an outlaw, so I am not a target for the Enforcer. So the Enforcer is just not going to do anything on the Enforcer's turn. And then let's take the bigger NPC action right now, which is going to be the Merchant. So the Merchant is going to move 9 spaces onto the cell space for Azure. And then the Merchant is going to roll a d6 and will gain, oh my god, the maximum possible amount of credits the Merchant could possibly gain. The Merchant will gain 6 credits. So we'll go ahead, take these out, and then put them on the Merchant's card. And then this says if the Merchant has at least 5,000 credits aboard, the Merchant will spend 5,000 credits to gain a fame point for NPCs. So that's not great. So we're going to spend that. The NPCs are going to move up on their fame point track. And since they're in that yellow space, they are going to draw a title, which comes from the titles deck. You'll see the back right here. So let's flip it over and see what we get. We get Veteran. Be the first player to have 3 completed and unspent missions of 1 mission type. So this is an objective that anyone can claim at any time. They must be the first to claim it. If they do, they get that special power on the bottom, the once claimed power, and they gain 2 fame points. Now this is looking pretty unlikely. We'll put this off to the side here, but I don't know if we're necessarily going to go for that because we must have 3 of the same mission type, and right now we have 2 different types of missions. Alright, but that is not the end of it, because now our NPCs still have to roll to see if they gain fame points. And they rolled a 15. Now, do they get any modifiers? They do get 1 + 2 modifier because the Merchant has 1 credit left on its ship. So that adds +2 to the roll of 15, so that's going to be a roll of 17. And 17 means that they gain 2 fame points. So let's move them up again on the fame point track. Bop, bop. and they move through a purple space, so we're going to go ahead and draw another event. And these events do stack. They do not replace other events, so you can have multiple event rules that are happening at the same time. This is a wonderful event right here. No, I'm just joking. That is a customizable event. If you want to write your own events, you can, but we just got a little weird with that drop. So let's draw another event. Humanitarian aid. One of each of the following items may be delivered in any order to any mission point in an ice asteroid sector. We do not have any ice asteroid sectors out. But the first player that delivers the needed item places it on the humanitarian aid card and receives a fame point. So if we deliver 2,000 credits to an ice asteroid space, we gain a fame point. If we deliver any shield outfit, we gain a fame point. And if we deliver 1 Terra Cube, we gain a fame point. And this card leaves play once all of those items have been placed on that card. So we'll place that right there. Now we don't have any way that we can get Terra, which is a bit of a shame, but hopefully we'll get some in the future. We do have that shield outfit on our ship that we can deliver to the ice asteroid area, but we also don't have an ice asteroid space out. So we're going to have to do more exploring for that. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to consolidate everything over here so we have more space for our system. This game has a really big footprint, by the way. Especially, probably if you're playing with other players, it has an even bigger footprint. Alright, so that was long. That was a long NPC turn. And man, they are 4 fame points ahead of us. So we're going to have to catch up real bad. No one said I was good at this game. And the solo mode is actually kind of a de facto hard mode for the game, so keep that in mind if you're going to try out Xia Legends of a Drift system. But let's see, what do we want to do on our turn? I think we're just going to go out and explore and see what we can get, because we definitely want more of those credits. So let's go ahead and arm our Halon engine marker. We're going to roll the D8. Alright, we get our full 8 movement. So, first of all, let's move into this mission space. 1, 2, 3. Let's grab 3 mission cards. Let's see if we can jettison a mission for an easier one, maybe. Okay, we've got an assassin mission. We don't have any blaster outfits, so we don't want to do that. And also, I want to note that the NPCs are pretty dang strong. I mean, they start out with D12 blasters, and they also have pretty strong shields as well, even if we did attack them. Alright, we've got Thief. We need to fly adjacent to a ship, steal stuff from it, and deliver it to the Expeditor Gate. The Expeditor Gate is not out, though, yet. And then we have Private Eye. We have to fly to Calacus, then we have to draw from the deck, and based on how many outlaw missions we get from the deck, we are going to gain points, and then we have to go to the Grinder. So the Grinder is not out yet, but already this seems a little more doable than our cargo mission. It'd be really funny if Neil Vostok came out when we explored. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's grab this Private Eye mission, and we want to fly to Calacus, which is right over here, and then deliver to the Grinder. So we moved 1, 2, 3. We've got 5 movement left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just get as far as possible from that scoundrel over there. Let's arm our movement marker again, and let's go ahead and roll that D8. We get 7 movement. Alright, the game is finally repenting for its sins of giving me bad rolls. So I think what we want to do is let's move 1, 2, 3 into here. We'll accept any consequences since we're blind jumping, we're not scanning. But yeah, let's just see what we get here. If we blow up, who cares? Because actually, remember that Resurgent mission we want to complete, as well as getting the 10 fame points, we want to be destroyed at least 4 times. So that would actually kind of help us. But let's go ahead and move 1, 2, 3. We're going to jump into this space right here. And we're going to match it up to that circle symbol. Alright. Oh, and look at that! Look at that! We got the Grinder, which is part of our Private Eye mission. That's pretty sweet. So we're going to put the Grinder right here. And the Grinder is an ice asteroid sector, which combines with that humanitarian aid event that wants us to deliver stuff to an ice asteroid area, so that's pretty cool. And you'll also see on the Grinder that it has a spot for something called an ice asteroid. So we're going to spawn an ice asteroid. Here's what they look like. You're going to put it on the spawn point for the comet's path, and if you ever move into this path of the comet area, you're going to roll a d6 and that comet is going to move towards you. If a comet ever hits anything, it's going to immediately destroy it. So comets are pretty scary. However, we're moving into this spot right here. Real quick, I'm going to put an exploration token out here, but we're going to move into this spot right here, and I think we're pretty safe because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even if the comet rolled 6, it could not reach us. Watch it roll like a 10 or something. Alright, 1. So the comet is only moving 1 space. And what was that? We spent 1, 2, 3, 4 of our 7 movement, so we've got 3 movement left. So let's actually go here into this ice asteroid space. Now, whenever we move into an ice asteroid space, we must complete a roll to see if bad stuff is going to happen to us. We must roll for ice damage. So on a 1 to 10, we gain that much damage. On an 11 to 20, we are completely fine. Now, why are we moving into this space? Well, it's because we have this vagabond power, and if we roll an 8 to 10 on a d20 when we're inside of an ice asteroid, we might get the possibility to gain a Terra, which is what they want in that humanitarian aid in the ice asteroid sector. So that's why we're taking this big risk. But yeah, so first let's roll our d20 to see if we take any damage. 13. Okay, so we're perfectly safe. We do not take any damage. Then we're going to use our power. So first we must spend energy, which you guys know how that works on our player board. And then we're going to roll a d20, and hopefully we can get some Terra. Alright, what's that? We get a 6. Ooh, that's not enough for Terra, is it? No, Terra is 8 to 10. So on a 5 to 7, we gain 1 plasma. And we must also exhaust this. It's going to be reusable in our status phase. But yeah, so let's go ahead and grab a plasma cube and put it inside of our hold. This plasma cube does not come out of the economy board, and I'm just going to place it in our cargo pod where we placed those purple cyber cubes. Alright, now what do I want to do? So I do want to fly to the mission spot on Calacus. Let's see, our scoundrel is going to move 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our scoundrel would not be able to get to us this turn because our scoundrel is definitely going to try and attack us if we do that. So let's go ahead, arm our movement marker, because sadly our impulse is 3, so we won't be able to move to that mission spot on Calacus. And let's roll that d8. We are looking for at least a 3. And we gain a 7. That's a bit of a shame because we are going to be wasting some of our movement, but let's go ahead and move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right onto that mission space there. Alright, so we are on Calacus, and we're going to do part of our private eye mission. So what we are going to do is discard the top 3 mission cards from the mission deck. And we'll go ahead, we've got these 3 here, and depending on how many outlaw missions are in these 3 cards, we're going to get a certain reward. So let's turn it over. Hopefully there are some outlaw missions. Alright, okay, we got 2 of those, Arms Dealer and Coerce. So since we got 2 outlaw missions, that means we gain 3,000 credits once we go to the Grinder. That's such a cool name, by the way. Imagine a whole sector of space just being called the Grinder. Alright, but that's awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and put 3,000 credits on that mission card just to show that we did gain 2 outlaw missions. Alright, and we also are on the mission point of a dead world as per that Signs of Life card. So we can roll a d20 to see if we gain Signs of Life. A 10. So on a 1 to 15, nothing happens. So we don't gain Signs of Life in Calacus yet. Now I'm thinking, do I want to spend my impulse to move to this excavation area, maybe risk it and see if I can grab another excavation token, or should I move into the kiln to take my business phase? I'm thinking that will be risky, and we'll go over here and we will try to excavate. So we're going to use our impulse, which again gives us 3 movement, so we're going to move 1, 2, and then we're going to take that excavate action. So let's roll this d20. Ah, 19. All right, that was sick. Okay, and also if we ever roll a natural 20, we do gain a fame point just out of pure luck. But we got 19, so we get to grab one of these. Oh, and you know what sucks? I just realized that I actually don't have any space for this inside my ship because of my cargo hold and my stupid M-Comp engine. So I'm going to check real quick if we can ever just throw stuff out. Alright, you cannot just randomly throw away outfits, so we actually kind of wasted that turn. going over here and sifting for a token that we couldn't possibly hold in our ship. But we'll go ahead and end our action phase. We don't do the business phase because we didn't discover signs of life. So we're just going to go to the status phase. So we don't freeze, we don't claim fame, we don't draw any titles or events, but we are going to refresh our impulse, and we are going to arm our markers. We're going to spend 1, 2, 3 energy to rearm 3 markers, and we're almost down to 0 energy. We're 1 away from that. So we're going to want to go into the kiln or a planet on our next turn. But now it's time for System Expanse and the NPCs. Also, if my voice sounds a little gargly from all the talking, I do apologize. I'm kind of like a radio. I'm getting more broken as I speak. But yeah, we're going to go to the System Expanse. Alright, and I think where we're going to expand, why don't we expand right here? Because if we get something good, we can just immediately move into it. So let's go ahead, go right here. We're going to use this side and match it up with the square symbol. So let's see what we get. Alright, we got Zaya itself. Title drop, and we'll put it right over here. And what Zaya is it's a giant honking star, and if you ever fly into it, you get destroyed. So this is good that we didn't try and blind jump to this sector, or else we would have gotten poof destroyed. Although again, that does help with our resurgent card. Alright, and now it's time for that giant list of NPC turns. So let's go on with our Scoundrel. The Scoundrel will target the player if the player is innocent. I currently am innocent, so it's going to move to me, and if it's not in range, it's going to move again. So it's going to turn around right here and move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so it's right up there, right up against me, but again, it's not going to attack because it did that to be. If it wasn't in range, it's going to move to target again. So it won't attack me, but he's just staring me down. And then we're going to go to the Enforcer. If we are an outlaw, he's going to do something. However, we are not an outlaw. So the Enforcer is just going to do nothing. Poor Enforcer, just staying on Kemplar 2 the whole time. Alright, and let's go to our investor, Mr. Moneybags, Mr. Crypto over here. Our dude stuck on the grind permanently. He is going to go to the next available cell space on the trade route planet. He is going to move 9 spaces. And let's see what is currently out. Currently, Azure is out, and Kemplar 2 is out right here, which is the second spot, conveniently, on the trade route. So the merchant is going to fly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, he is entering Vortex 86, but vortexes do not affect NPCs because NPCs do not manage energy. So he's completely good being in there. And that's good because the investor is not going to gain any money to add those +2 to those D20 die rolls. But let's go ahead and then finally roll that D20 die for the NPCs. Now the merchant does have 1 credit on the merchant card. However, the NPCs only get that 1 credit modifier if they gain it on their turn. So there's no modifier that's being added to this roll. Let's go ahead and roll the D20. And it's going to be a 3. Okay, that's pretty good, actually, because it is just 1 shy of what those NPCs need to gain a fame point. So they are just going to remain on that 5 space right there. And I think that's a good place to end part 1 of our playthrough. It's gone on long enough. I am really behind on the NPCs, and I haven't even gotten to this resurgent mission requirement yet, so I don't know. I kind of see failure in our future. Again, I'm not the best player of this game. This is kind of just to show you guys how the solo mode is going to mostly work when you are playing with the solo campaign mode, to show you how the NPCs work, how the explorations work, and also some of the other systems that are present in Zaya. But yeah, we're going to have a part 2 of this. We're going to see what happens in that. We're going to see if my little vagabond can hopefully earn some more fame points. Maybe we'll pull in a clutch victory, but right now, again, we're 4 points behind. I can't really see that happening, but I'm still having a fun time going around, exploring, setting myself up for missions. I mean, we do have that private eye mission that we want to complete in the future, so that at least gives us something to look forward to. Alright, so I'll see you guys in part 2, and I hope you guys have a great night. Sleep well. This is Richard, and this has been Bedside Tabletop.